Hello, everyone. So I was looking for something, who cares what it was? And in trying to find the whatever something it was I was looking for, I came across a bunch of diaries. And they're not my diaries, they're diaries I buy. I would go to flea markets and antique shops and I'd see little pocket-sized diaries like this one. And I would use them to write people's, because they were almost always empty, except Friday the 17th, February 17th, 1939. Um, Whoever owned this drove to Green Bay with $2.80 worth of gas, 295 miles. And I would use it to write notes or draw little pictures. In this case, this one I used for my students' grades. Boy, did I give a lot of A's out. I'm buying what I need to buy at the store. Drawings, what are they? Oh, this was my class plan for the year. Who's Shannon Clayton? I wonder. Short critique of bedclothes assignment. Anyway, that's what I use this one for. What I discovered about these old diaries is many of them had absolutely beautiful paper on them, so I would buy them for sketchbooks. So among the ones that I found yesterday are some that I have never even used yet. Yearbook for 1937. These are big blank pages. I paid $3 for this. So whoever owned this in 1937 nothing happened. Maybe he got hit by a truck on his way home from his very exciting day. On the first day of 1937, he was run over by a streetcar. So this is put out by Henry Brophy Insurance Company. So sometimes you have an advertisement at the bottom of these things. And evidently he was able to have little notes down here. Ask about plate glass policies for those of you that are blanket resident policies, bank burglary and robbery policies. So he's reminding you every day of the horrible things that could happen to you or your business. Thank you very much, Henry, for brightening my day. Okay, this one, the Physician's Perfect Call List and Record. So this is what a doctor, like our dear friend Dr. C, might carry if he was in practice from 19 something to 19 something. 31 patients per page. There's room for that. Oh, Dr. C. This is what you need if you made house calls. So this then tells you that placing obstetrical record on a single form instead of two. What a great idea. So this gives you what the doctor ought to know about the Harrison Act. Do you know what the Harrison Act is? I'm going to have to look that up. So these are the signs, the abbreviations you use in your keeping track. Well, this was never used by any doctor. Oh, P.D. Stumpf. Oh, I remember. I took this book to Japan with me when I was with the Philadelphia Philharmonic Orchestra on their tour of Japan. I was allowed to go, and I was coming up with what I thought would be fun for an article I was writing for Penworld magazine. And what I did was I showed, I'll just draw a little image of what it looked like. Do I have a pen anywhere around here? Can I get a piece of paper that's big? Is that possible? There we go. So what I drew, I tell you, I have such a difficult time keeping anything straight here. This is watered down ink, but you'll just have to deal with it. So what I drew, here's the page of the magazine, the whole page. What I drew was, God's sake. Okay, if you're not going to work, we're going to just use a pencil. So the center of the magazine page was white, and the background was all black with white line work. And this showed essentially a music stand. So it was shaped like a lyre. Here, as some old music stands were. There's a tripod here. And you see, the bass cello top here. You see the conductor here with his arms up. And you see the violins over here and maybe part of a trombone coming out this way. And you see right here and right here the cymbals about to crash, because this guy, the guy who's reading the music, is the cymbal player, the percussionist. So the title of the piece is here, Rhapsody in Blue Black, and then I had staff lines, maybe 4 lines each. And this had a treble clef, this had a bass clef, and a treble clef. Or I don't know how this worked, I forgot. And I wrote in the spaces 4 sentences of the article I wrote. And each O in the wording I filled in, like we used to do when we were in school. We'd fill in the O's of the book we're reading. So when you squinted your eyes, it looked like it was some music, sheet music. And the whole gist of this entire article, I suggested, was you don't have to have every single stroke, every single downstroke be shaded. You don't have to have every single one do it, because it's like, I likened it to being like a Sousa march, which can be kind of boring after a while, hearing the cymbals go every single beat. And so I suggested to people they don't have to do that when they write their letters. They write the letter L-E-T-T-E-R rather than L-E-T-T-E-R. And when I do calligraphy, I tend only to apply pressure on the long strokes. So the G, the K, the capital letters will be shaded in some spot, but the E's and the O's and the I's, I don't bother with those. But the tall letters and the low letters, I do shading. So that was the whole point of this article. So while I'm in Japan with this book, thinking about this, I might have just written this thing, but I was still thinking about it. What I was coming up with were ways of creating capital letters that sort of reminded me of the treble clef or the bass clef. So that was my shtick for this stuff. And one of my, like, here's how you could make the M. Now, if Todd Merrill were here, he would give me a piece of action, how this can't work, but these are how I made a P. Now that sort of looks like an upside down, inside out treble clef. One of my favorite ones that I came up with was how the I and the J were going to be rendered, and they were the same letter. I'll just show you because I do remember how that one worked. I just have to find I'll just use the pencil again. So the I and the J they both looked like this. Down, up, down, up. So that was both the I and the J. The I was dotted here and the J was dotted here. So you knew that was an I and that was a J. And again, it sort of made as much sense to me as any sort of weird symbols that are used by professionals, just like the doctor. Now, I don't know whether all doctors use the same abbreviations here. The C with a cent sign is a consultation visit, or if this is just what this company thinks you should use. But anyway, it was really, there's my I's and J's. See, I'm telling you all about it. So I think it was really, really fun. And Todd Merrill, when you look at this, maybe you'll like it as well. I didn't mean to talk about this for 13 minutes, but I got distracted. What I wanted to talk to you about are these 5-year diaries. And unlike, I bought a big pile of them all at one antique shop or one garage sale. I think 2 of them are by the same person, and the other one is 30 years earlier, so it's probably by this person's mother. And so they're the leather-bound diary. This looks like it's meant to be alligator, but it's just a cow with alligator stamping. And Needham Heights, Massachusetts. And what you do, here's January 9th, 1940. So you compare, you write, nice sunny day, another package from Clara, stationery and calendar with quills. N tinkered around in the AM, bed after dinner. N is her husband or son or brother or some family member, because N shows up quite a bit. So that's 1940. You turn the page for the next day. And then you go back, when it's 1941, you go back to the beginning and you start writing it again. 1941, cleaned dining room. N cleaned stove. That's N. Will and G walked in the evening, head to football games. Slept out on the piazza in January in Massachusetts. So it's certainly not today's weather. Slept out on the piazza. Wide open town. So what did I do? I immediately went over to December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, to see what they had to say about that. December 4, December 6, December 7, 1941. Japan at war on Hawaii. Slept out. I'm trying to find where N washed, I made rice custard. It's nice that N washed. So I looked for the end of the war. So let's go to the end of the war. This one is in suede. Okay. Thomas Edison. Look at how tiny this writing is. When did, oh, this is 1913. Okay, that was the mother. So here's we're back in 1945. So I went to find when the war ended in 1945. Where's 1945? Come on. 47. Okay, so this is 45 on the top row. So May 7th, August, May, July, June, May 7th. So it wasn't until the 8th when she woke up to find that Germany surrendered. But I love this. Nate had 5 movements this morning. I wonder how many bowel movements he would have had if they declared war on that day. But anyway, I just think it's really cute. And a bed the rest of the day. So I also learned this person, I don't know if it was in this one or another one. Was it this one? Important events. Maybe it was this one. So this is World War I era, 1914. And I looked under the day that the Lusitania sank, and there wasn't anything about that. I didn't bother to look when we entered the war. I'll find that out in a minute. I'm sure there wasn't anything about the Zimmerman telegram, but this one was really neat, and it showed, she wrote down how much she gave as Christmas presents to everyone. Miranda. Handkerchief. One was really cute. It said hankies and 2 dimes is what someone got. And that was a lot of money back then. 3 ties crocheted. She gave $1 to, Oh, maybe this is how much she's, no, this is how much she spent. And she received from her aunts $3. Handkerchief, tie. Carl got $1, and Carl gave her some stationery. Grandma got a card. A $2.50 gold piece was Carl given. It's pretty good, Carl. And look at this. Tiny, tiny writing. It's just fascinating. Now, the war was going on during, I mean, it was, we never got to 1919 with this one. Money orders by telegram. This hasn't been opened for 100 years. Care Drugstore, Chelmsford, Mass. Oh my God, Chelmsford, that's where my 3/4 roommate is from. Case ready, come at once. Dr. W.E. Punt. I wonder what the case was. Okay, let's find out when the United States entered the World War I. Does anyone know that? April 6, 1917. So way down at the bottom, April 6th. The war had been going on for 3 years by the time we got around to it. April 6th, June, May, April 26, 2010, April 6, 5-6. Well, it was raining. I don't see anything about the war here. April 7th. I wore new woolen pajamas. So much for that. There's no war news here. So much for that. And I'm not interested in reading too much more here. Jacksonville. Here's a doctor's card. Helen G. F. Mack, MD, 70 West Rutland Square in Boston. Office hours 2 to 4 and 7 to 8 p.m. Mornings by appointment. So evidently the other hours were house calls, maybe. Is that how that works? Doctor? I'll ask the doctor in the room. Okay, the Alumni Association of the Brockton Hospital Training School for Nurses. So Miss Grace Atwood, and that's who this diary is by. This is Grace's diary. Nulla dies sine linea. No day without a line. I'm just trying to see if Will and Grace did the wash. Of course they did. Nate not feeling well. He's the one that had the 5 movements in the morning. So, anyone have any questions? Most of the time, when you find old diaries, most of the time they have one line that might say what the temperature is, because that was, everyone was interested in that. They'd look at their thermometer outside their window, and they might say rainy or snow or hot. And then every once in a while you'd see Mrs. Jones buried. And you look back a couple of pages to find out when she died. Well, you didn't know. You didn't know she died. The news didn't travel that fast. So they'd read an announcement in the paper and they would go to the funeral. And that's when they'd mention washed a little, walked the pups. He loves to have Molly rub him. Well, who wouldn't want Molly to rub you? Clean kitchen floor. Picked first strawberries in June. Wiped up Nate's floor. I wonder if Nate had issues with his bowels. He makes messes, it seems, 5 times a day. Or figures played something. I to Lowell Clinic for X-ray. Had to stand in bus all way to city. William arrived for supper. Nate sat on piazza rail 1/2 hours in the morning. Good all day till about 5 p.m. I think Nate has issues, health issues. Does our Nate? Anyway, I've got dozens of these things. None as wordy as those that I showed you. Most, again, are blank, never used or rarely used. This one was never used. This one was never used. The doctor's one. That came with an actual pencil. Call list. Record of narcotics dispensed and other memoranda. So what was the Harrison Act? Opium. He must register with the collector of internal revenue of the district his name or style, place of business, and place or places where such business is to be carried on, and pay an annual fee of $3 if you dispense opium. But it goes on. I mean, you'd think that was simple, but there's Section 6 provides that the provisions of the act shall not be construed to apply to the manufacture, sale, distribution, and giving away of remedies which do not contain more than 2 grains of opium. So it's not as simple as that. Would you like to join me live, Cesar? I bought a pen on eBay yesterday or the day before. It was a buy it now, and it seemed like it was a really good price for the pen. It was a number 3 wall, all metal pen, gold fill, with a gold fill section. And it was a buy it now for $90 some, which ended up being $107 with the tax and whatever postage added. It was one of these that said no returns. So I thought, oh, for sure, it has a broken nib. The nib looks like it's okay. So let's see how we add you here. Add. Copy link. Paste. Send. Is anyone else in the room? It says there's 4 people. Does anyone else have anything to write, to type? The I and the J. Except I did it like this. So here's how it fits on the staff. So that's the key of I and that's the key of J or something. So we're making anti-ice protest signs. And one of the designs I came up with, I'll share with the world. Make America good again. Another one was keep his tiny hands off Grönland. Hello, mister.
Hello.
Remember to turn off YouTube on any device you're watching YouTube. We're now streaming through Safari. So that
Okay.
way we won't have echoes.
All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, and it seems like there isn't an echo.
Okay, good.
So I ran across, while I was looking for something, I ran across one of the many pieces of paper you sent me so many years ago to show me how you hold a pen and how you use a pen. And I must say that even I'm looking at it now, I'm still scared to death about a pen in your hands, because it just looks like you go way too fast and you press down way too hard. But it's like, my fear with Todd Merrill as well. I mean, he's such a swashbuckler that I fear for the little pieces of iridium. So, but
Mary wants to say hi. Mary wants to say hi to you.
Hello, Mary.
Hi, Pierre. How are you?
I'm smiling all the more.
Oh, I love hearing your voice.
Hearing your voice, because I couldn't believe how happy you were all the time. So whatever drug you're taking for that to happen, I want you to send me the prescription.
Okay, I'll
So
try to bottle it up and put it in one of Caesar's ink
yeah,
jars and send it on over.
no, I don't know what it is, but you just seem to be so happy all the time. So
So
that's
Pierre,
yes.
tell Mary about the diary that you read about the guy having 5 bowel movements in the morning.
Yes. So Mary, I have this these old diaries, and this is a 5-year diary. So the top of the page is 1940,
Uh-huh.
and then one down below would be the same day, April 25th, 1941 and 1942. So you'd be able to compare, if you kept it going for 5 years, how your life had changed, since the year before, 2 years, or 5 years before. So I looked
In
up.
the same page, you have 5 years.
So I looked up um, the surrender of Japan or VE Day, I think it was Victory in Europe Day, in 1946. Where's 1946? It's up at the top, right? It was on the top row, I think. 45. So it was May 7th. So here's when Germany surrendered, but she didn't get the news until the next day.
Uh-huh.
So Germany surrendered May 8th. Fine morning, rainy. To post office in the morning. Nate had 5 movements this morning. A bed and bed rest of day. So Nate has a lot of issues, I think. It talks about him exercising a little bit and sleeping the rest of the day. So I don't know what happened to Nate. Waffle breakfast, eggs 55 cents at Leon Hildsmith's. Flowers on the way were lovely. Flowers on the way were lovely. Anyway, it's just five bowel movements in the morning, just in the morning.
Was Nate her dog?
Nate, I think, was perhaps a husband or sibling, or maybe, I don't think it would have been father. Nate Abed. Yeah, Nate is doing. Oh, and W&G, that's for Will and Grace, I learned. So Will and Grace were visitors to her house all the time.
And they did the laundry.
Washed windows and laundered curtains in the kitchen.
Nice.
Baked molasses cookies. Little dog ran over near us, died.
Oh.
Nate abed before dinner. And this person also, we learned, I think, was studying to be a nurse. And then these are Christmas cards sent, and how much this is also the other, I think her mother wrote in the earlier diary from 1915, but British children, $1. I don't know who the British children were. $2. HH got $2 from this woman. There was one that said hankies and 2 dimes. That's what they got for Christmas.
Yeah.
5 hankies and 2 dimes. So anyway, you filled up your Eversharp Skyline, did you?
I in the last minute I changed my mind,
Okay,
and this one
you've got that one.
stole my heart. This
Okay,
is the first time that I get to ink this one. I was in with you in Boston several months ago,
yeah,
but time flies.
yeah.
But teach me a little bit about this pen. I just love it somehow.
Can you show me the nib?
Yeah.
Is it the tiny nib, or is yes? Okay, so that was that was Waterman's answer to the Parker 51.
Oh, I see.
So they couldn't copy the 51, but they had to show more of the nib.
Oh.
But by showing more of the nib, they ended up actually providing a nib that could actually be flexible to a degree. They're almost always sort of medium or fine pointed. Some can be stubby, but
Uh-huh.
most are sort of medium or fine. But they almost all have a little tiny bit of flex. So I don't know whether I made a little chart for you of each of the pens and what each of them could do when you were here.
No, I don't think so.
But anyway, you know enough about how the pens work, and I think you have the ability to hear the pen when it says you're pushing too hard. Even
I
though,
think I'm being even more gentle now than before. I'm gaining more respect for them.
okay, well,
But I haven't bent one
oh,
really.
good, and you haven't broken one. Well, that's good. Um, I broke a pen the other morning, and I was mortified that I did it. It I was just writing with it, and I pressed down to apply the little bit of flex that I knew it had because I had written with it the day before, and
Mm-hmm.
I pressed down, and whether I hit a little snag. I don't know why am I getting echoes, or are you, or anyway, I hit a
I'm not
little
getting echoes.
I hit a little snag in the paper, and the one of the iridium flew off the tip of the pen. So
Oh wow.
I broke the nib, and that does happen. I'd like to say it happens once every 2 years, maybe. I know I had a beautiful, very, very fine pen that my nephew used. I'll blame him. And he's a left-handed person, and he also probably didn't see that it was making a line because it was so fine. So he might have pressed down too hard
Oh.
and broke the nib. And it was a pen that I had recently just rediscovered, and it was a Waterman Accountant nib, so they're really, really fine points. And I was really heartbroken.
Mm.
I mean, I've got dozens of other nibs that write the same, so I wasn't that heartbroken. But so
Okay.
what's that one? That's
Let
your,
me ask you.
yeah,
I think you. I'm pretty sure you sold me that because I asked Todd and he didn't sell me this one. But it's
okay,
incredibly flexible. It's just
yeah.
so
That was
gorgeous.
one of the Franken pens I sold you.
Oh.
There, when you see, I think I sold you two Franken pens.
Oh, that explains
And if
it.
they don't have a breather hole in them, in the nib, if it's missing a hole, those are dip nibs.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I'm a little
Oh,
scared about it.
they're beautiful pens, but they are scary a little bit. Like here's one here. Again, no breather hole, but you breathe and they spread. You know, you don't have to
Wow.
press hardly any pressure at all, and they just open up.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, this one I recently discovered, and it's like I only take it out when I'm sober.
That's a good idea. I think sobriety is a very important thing to do when you're using any pen that is slightly fragile. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I see that my my iPad is about to, let me see if I plug it in, if it'll charge. Okay,
Hey,
I'll see
listen,
if I,
before you go, I wanna tell you two things. If
yeah.
you ever consider selling that doctor visit book that
Okay.
you have, I would love to buy it from you.
Okay.
Second thing, the card that you show of the doctor,
Yeah.
that font, maybe we'll use that font for my next business card. I just love that font.
It's lovely. I don't know whether, because the typefaces they used back then may not exist now, but it
Wow.
doesn't mean that we can't do our best to try to emulate it. But the other thing, Cesar, about that particular font or that particular card is um, they they do not make, you can't just print this. These are engraved. Well, no, actually, this is printed. This isn't engraved. But to make those really, really fine lines,
Oh,
I don't think that's possible unless
wow.
you have them engraved. Now, you could go to a printer and say, I want, what is the thinnest line you can print
Uh-huh.
correctly? Because oftentimes they're inkjet printed. They're printed with, not printed by a normal printing press. They're printed by inkjet, and
Oh, I see.
an inkjet will squirts out pixels of ink, and they can't make it the finest line they can't make it any finer, you know. So you might have some difficulty there. But if you go to any printer in your
I have a
town,
good printer.
if you go to a printer, a professional printer, and ask
Yeah,
them for an
I,
example,
I have a good guy.
even if you brought in if you just wrote your name using that pen you have in your hand right now, where you make thick and thin lines and say, okay, this is an inch tall. Can you print this where all the lines work, print it at a quarter of an inch tall, and see if those lines can work. I mean, it's a little scary because
Mm,
you think it's going to work fine and it doesn't.
mm.
And um, when I design things for engraving, I actually I say, tell me what the thinnest line that what's the thinnest
Oh, I see.
line that can work on your for your to make the plate, to make the, and they don't even have hand engravers anymore. They're laser cut or something.
Mm,
They and they're not that exact. They're clunky, It's like you want them to write with that pen, but the only thing they have is a Sharpie, and it's a fat Sharpie. So but anyway, I'm going to see, I'm sure I can sell you this if at some point,
all
even,
right.
even though it has my doodles in it. That probably
Oh,
makes
that's even
it
better.
valuable to you. But I may have an empty one of these.
Yeah, it's just
So,
interesting to learn. I mean, it gives you some perspective to see
mhm,
how things were done in the past. It really gives you perspective.
yeah, I, I, we have a very small family in our house. I've got two brothers, two brothers, and a niece and a nephew, and the niece and the nephew is married, um, and his wife was my Secret Santa gift to buy,
Mm,
and we had $100 to spend, and I learned from my sister-in-law. I said, well, what does Jenny like? You know, because I know her the least. And well, she loves writing. She loves writing postcards and letters. And so I thought I would I'd make her stationery with her monogram, her initials on the top. And I'd print out a bunch of different cards, different colors, initials, or monogram at the top. I thought I'd give her that. And then I thought, oh my God, the perfect gift for her. And I'll show you what I got her. If I can find it. No. No. I gave her a more modern one of these. It's an
Oh, wow.
It's an Esterbrook, and it's a nurse's pen. It was designed for nurses because it would match their outfit.
Oh.
And that's when they wore white.
Uh-huh.
Or before green, that pukey green color became fashionable. But
Yeah, the white stockings were good.
the white stockings and the little white hat. And anyway, so I gave her one of these, and it had a red end because they came with both black and red, and the red was for night nurses for their chart.
Oh.
So
Oh, wow.
they must have had to write in red ink at night, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that way the doctor in the morning quickly can see what happened during the day and what happened at night.
Yeah. So and she's a night nurse. She is a nurse, in fact, and she's a night nurse. And so another little fun factoid about my nephew and his now wife. The mothers of both children were chatting about their kids and, oh, where did you give birth? They're both from Minnesota, and they both, turns out the kids' birthdays are a day apart, and the kids were both born in the same hospital, and they were in the same incubation
Oh, wow.
at the same time. So it was destined that they should marry, I guess.
Oh, wow. That is
Anyway,
amazing.
so what else can I tell you? I've been making protest signs.
Oh, cool.
My family lives in Minnesota, and of course, you know what that's like. The news gets out to you about the chaos there. So my building and we've been coming up with fun protest posters. So here's one I designed: "Keep his tiny hands off Grönland," and I spelled Greenland the way they spell it in Denmark,
Oh,
Danish, with the O with the
oh,
slash.
love that. Oh, yeah.
So that made me do the thing with the slash, and I covered his hand with the red ink. So another one was this one, of which this is the design for it. They haven't been painted yet, but it was "I scream, you scream, we all scream at ice. Scream."
Oh, that is
So
excellent.
it's the idea to make America good again. And then there's another one we're doing. "Greenland is for Greenlanders who are very good shots." And it's all of the Greenlandian people, they have to take their rifles out to shoot the bear and the walruses or whatever they have out there, elk. And so Trump better keep the military back home, I guess. Anyway, hello, GoRo. GoRo joined us. Would you like to join us, GoRo? I don't have to leave. My iPad is charging up now. So let's find out if GoRo wants to join us.
All right.
GoRo is sent me 2 pens for me to either fix or trade or do something with. I haven't figured out what his thing is. So, do you want to join me, GoRo? Oh, he doesn't have. Oh, okay, he doesn't. Okay, never mind. I mean, you can go. You could join just with your phone, I think, and we could have a talking head. Anyway, GoRo's letter to me, Cesar, was just as shocking as your letters to me when I got your first writing examples.
Uh-huh.
They and I'd love to show them to you if I could find them, but it was many pages long and done with many different pens with many different inks, and I still haven't even read them. GoRo, I'm sorry to say, but and he writes. I think he writes with a heavy hand. He tells me he doesn't, but I think. Okay, he said she can hop on. So the pens are in my mailbox. Oh well, I'll let him come on, and GoRo. You can. He'll talk with you, Cesar,
All right.
live. I mean, and you can, and I'll go down and find the box and open the pens that he sent me. So
Okay.
it's not that heavy, I swear. He says it's not that heavy. So you come on, GoRo, and GoRo's name is spelled Gaura, in some way, shape, or form, and so, but you pronounce it like GoRo, like go row your boat. So
Oh, okay.
so that's how. So once he joins, you and he can chat while I run down to get the box, and I can
All
open it
right.
here in front. And you're drawing a little face, it looks like.
Yes, I think so. It just came out.
It just came out that way. Maybe GoRo's. Oh, here's GoRo. Okay, so GoRo, you're live. So add to stage.
Can you guys hear me?
I can. Look at that handsome face.
Beautiful. Oh, Peter, you're
Look.
gonna make me blush.
I wouldn't be able to tell because there's no skin showing on your face. It's all hairy.
That's pretty
I'll
funny.
be right back.
Mhm.
I'll go get your pen.
How's your day going, Doc?
My day is going really well. Really, really well. The
Good.
weather here in California is lovely. It's a beautiful sunny day. Where are you?
So I'm in Tampa, and we might be getting snow tonight. So let's see. I'm a bit excited. I've missed the cold, so I feel like I'm back home.
Where was back home?
So I grew up in New York, in Long Island. I've been missing my winters since I've moved down here. I've basically been back and forth between Tampa and India for the past few years.
Cool.
But it's been good. It's been good.
So you sent some pens for Pierre to work on?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't. It may end up turning into a trade. It may end up turning into him turning. It's a 52 and a 55 that I would ideally like to be in eyedroppers. I'm not the biggest fan of the lever filling mechanism. It's just too much of a headache long run to like maintain. So I'd rather just have a simple mechanism. Like worst case, I have to use a syringe, and I can, be on my way.
Got it.
So yeah, this is I think my third and fourth vintage flexible nibs, and I
Oh,
might get a Franken pen from him. Let's see. I'm very much leaning towards asking Pierre if he can do one of his dip nib Frankenpens.
Yeah,
Um,
it's difficult to get him to commit.
It's like wrestling an eel, right? The moment you think you have him in your hands, he's like, "Well, wait, give me a sec." But I don't know. That's kind of the fun of the process, right? It's the negotiating and bartering with Pierre to part with one of his dear pens. Though I will assure him that the pen will be in good hands, even though he thinks I have a heavy hand, which I don't. Yeah, but I'm glad you have you've got the sunny side of things out in Cali.
Sorry about that.
All
Are you
good.
still there?
Yeah, still here.
Hold on. So I lost something. I screwed up something. So you are in a monologue now.
A monologue. Oh my, that's a lot of pressure.
I cannot hear you.
Oh, I wasn't speaking. Can you hear me right now?
I cannot hear you.
Oh, I wasn't speaking. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah,
I
I
can.
got it. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
I cannot hear you.
Oh, I wasn't speaking.
Let me see if I can figure out how to get the sound to come out again.
Are you on your phone? Oh yeah, you can't hear me, so I guess I am really talking to myself.
Hmm. All right, I'm gonna be delayed, I think, because.
Okay, no worries.
All right, I'm gonna be delayed, I think, because.
Oh, that's very odd. Oh, because you're
Okay,
using
no
the
worries.
YouTube for the
All right, I'm
volume.
gonna be delayed, I think, because.
Oh, that's very odd. Oh, because you're using the YouTube for the volume.
Yeah, because I cannot hear you. You know, I'm gonna have to.
Maybe if you rejoin.
Because I cannot hear you. You know, I'm gonna have to.
Because
Hello.
I
Let
can
me see
hear
if I
your
can.
echo.
Let me see if I can rejoin. Give me one
Okay.
second.
I'll be right back.
Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can rejoin. Give me one
What's
second.
wrong? I'll be right back.
So Caesar's volume is being finicky by the looks of
Okay.
it.
Okay. I see. Okay.
So he's going to rejoin.
Okay. Here's your box.
There we go.
I'll wait for Cesar to come back so he can watch the fun. And I also wanted to show him another doctor
Wait,
related.
Pierre, are you saying anything?
Can you hear me? I am saying something.
Did I lose my audio now?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah,
But-
I can't hear you.
Okay, let's figure out why. Hello?
That's so odd. Give me a sec. I'm going to try joining and rejoining.
Okay. Let me find out if it's working here. I'll listen to myself.
This candle has been burning for the past.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello. It seems to work. So it seems to work. So let's see if you want to come back here. Paste. Send. Okay, here's GoRo. Add to stage.
There
Hello?
we go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I don't know. It's being finicky. That was odd.
Okay. Okay, so let me open this up.
Dun da da.
Yeah, okay, you provide the soundtrack.
Da 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 da.
Someone
Dun, da, da.
someone gave me it's a sort of tabletop electric organ,
Oh,
and it's called the Pian organ.
the
which,
PN organ?
which sounds like a penis. That's my Pian organ. It's PIANORGAN, Pian organ.
I was practicing my P's the other day, and I incidentally realized that a lot of them look like penises.
Oh,
And I immediately started changing the way I did my P's.
well, you show me the ones that look like penises, because there's at least someone in the world that wants to see those. So anyway, I will just listen, says Cesar. So Cesar, I'm going to show you a doctor-related job that I finally finished, and it's been over a year, because it was a year ago at the Philadelphia Pen Show where someone came up to me and said, "Are you Pierre Gustafson?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh, well, I've been wanting to meet you. On your website, you have a business card you made for a doctor who collects fountain pens. And I'd like to buy a copy of that." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I think I know what it looks like. So when I get back to Boston, I'll look through my files on my computer or
Mhm.
see if I can find it." Well, I couldn't find it. So I emailed him and I said, "Well, I can just make one for you, do a new drawing, and with the pens you like, not the pens that he liked, this other guy liked." And he said, "Sure, I'll do it." And it took me a year to do the drawing. But let me show you on my website, you see something that looks like this. So it's a doctor's bag, and this is blown up. It's all pixelated because
Mhm.
it's tiny on the screen. And it had his initials here in the ink bottle, and then it had the prescription was
Mhm.
take 12 pens daily, and then in the small print it had the guy's email address. So he would hand this out as
That's pretty funny.
his card for pen collectors that he would give to other pen collectors. And the pens he liked were these that I drew, I
Uh-huh.
guess, because I don't know why I would have chose these. So I said, "Well, sure, I'll make one for you." So the guy sent me pictures of his pens that he liked,
Uh-huh.
and I finally got around to actually doing the drawing, the pen and ink drawing
Oh, this is pretty.
of his favorite pens and his initials. So, and I took a picture of it and sent it to him yesterday, and he wants a copy of it. So I'm not going to redraw it, but I'll scan it and print up a couple of extra copies. So, okay, ready to see your pens? You've been waiting, and you already know what they are.
I know what they are,
I'm
but
the one that doesn't know.
I'm more excited for you to use them, quite frankly.
Okay, so here's do you mind if other people look at your handwriting?
Yeah, it's
Your
fine.
handwriting that scares me to death. I hope this correspondence finds you well. I'll read it later. I won't read it out loud.
Okay.
So there's your G. let me just see how that. I've seen lots of penises in my day, and I've never seen one that looks like that.
So that's not the one that I was initially doing.
That's okay. Let me see.
I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll send you a photo of it.
Okay. Anyway, random something for peer. Okay, Waterman 52 for eye drop. For Waterman 52 for eye dropping 55. Don't quite know what that means, but we'll talk about it. Again, I'm not quite sure what sort of trade or what sort of something you're going to get from me, or how this will work, but we can talk about that later. Look at this. This would make lots of people very excited to see that price sticker.
Yep.
It doesn't excite me. Whenever I would have them, I would take them off, but I'm not. Luckily,
I think this one's like shellacked on, because there's like shellac on the pen. It's like literally on there.
And this is a stenographer's pen.
Yeah, it's a stenographer's nib, and it's quite a fun nib. I basically, I guess this is more for the audience, since we've been chatting about it for a bit. I had the pen for about an extra 10 days before I sent it off to Pierre, because I just couldn't stop using it. Like, it was just too much fun. I would say it's an Oingo Boingo nib. I don't know if you would agree.
I don't disagree with Boinga Boinga, but let me just try it with actual Inca Inca.
Yeah, I tried to clean it out as best as I could.
Okay.
I'm sorry if there is any mess.
No, I was just using watered down ink.
Oh,
Very faint. No, it's really, really springy. I'm not pressing the gas completely. This is, if this were my pen, I would probably play it within this range that I'm doing right now. Now you may press down a little bit more than I would, but other than that,
I try not to go too crazy with it, with either one of my flexible nibs. On occasion, I'll hear that little bit of the crackling if you go too hard. So I make sure I don't,
No, it's a very scary thing to do, to go too far. Now this pen by itself is, this is the thing that makes collectors, their pants get too tight, as as one person describes.
I definitely pissed a few people off on the auction, because I swooped in right at the last minute. And I was like, okay, stenographer's nib, that's all I care about. I don't really care about the sticker. The sticker's nice, but I'm curious what you think about the 55.
Well, if I were to doodle with each pen, this one and the stenographer's pen, and I would have a hard time telling them apart. They seem the stenographer's pen feels like it's a little bit more flexible, but it seems like the thin that this one gives is every bit as thin or thinner than the stenographer's pen. And this one, I can get the same line that I was getting with the stenographer's pen, but I'm pressing down harder on this one.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of breaking it. Where the other one, there was a little fragility in the nib, so I didn't press down as much as maybe I could. This one, I hear it telling me to stop at this point. It says this is enough.
Yep.
That one, the stenographer's pen, I wasn't hearing the enough yet coming back to me. The slightly more resistance I was getting from the pen nib. I didn't get that, because I was afraid.
Yep.
Now, would I have been afraid if this was just, a pen that I had in my drawer that I hadn't used in 20 years? Would I be afraid to to I still think this is as far as I would go, even if it's really, really nice. But to me, they seem very similar.
So I've noticed that I have a sweet spot in terms of like flexible nibs.
Yeah.
I like it when you can press on the gas pretty easily.
Yeah.
Namely because I'm sure from whatever you've glanced at my notes, you can see all the scratch outs and all that. And that's where I tend to really bring out the flex is when I'm striking things out.
Okay.
And there's like three parts. There's one Morrison, there's one and two one's I think a wall parts, and then another's like a mystery one. They were just kind of sitting on my desk, and I figured they're a bit more useful for you.
Yeah, a pen like this is the Morrison. Yep. No, Wherever. This is the Wherever. These, and this is the one where the cap does go on. It wasn't on in the box.
It wasn't fitting, so I just kept them separate.
You do have to sort of, I see. It didn't, well, it should fit. It would have fit. But it feels, you really have to push the cap on. It's like it's shrunk a little bit. So every time you push it on, you hear the threads being, it farts. You hear the thread farts. So, but these pens like this, I find are good for Franken pens because most of the time they had big steel nibs in them, and the big steel nibs are sometimes good. The feed and a dip pen nib fits in them rather nicely. But the difficulty in taking the cap off would bother me. But
so anyway. I like the color of it, and I bought it at an auction.
Yeah.
So like I was like, oh, let's see how this works, and then I was actually hoping that they would actually have nibs in them, but they didn't.
Yeah.
But beyond that, what I was hoping for is that ideally I'd want the 52 and 55 eyedroppered. Because the levers are, it's easier if I use my syringe. I generally like having more ink than what I get in the lever fillers, and it's easier to clean. And I was wondering if you'd be able to make a Franken dip pen. So ideally I would want for the 52, I wanted to put into a 412. So like an overlay, a clipless overlay.
Yeah.
The 55, I don't really care what it goes into as long as it's eyedroppered.
Okay.
And the dip pen would also ideally be eyedroppered. I know you usually don't fill them, but I think with the Hiroshi glue inks, I can get away with it because they flow quite well.
Well, if we're talking about using the nibs from your Waterman pens and putting them in an eyedropper pen, you won't have any trouble with them.
Okay.
They'll flow just as they would with the lever fill. It's the breather hole mainly that keeps dip pen nibs from allowing a lot of ink flow to be consistent. And I used to drill holes in dip nibs thinking that would help.
Did that ever help?
But it turns out that it's more, no, it didn't really help. It's more that when I do my calligraphy using nibs and I'm calligraphing envelopes, I go really, really fast. I press down really, really hard to get the thick lines. And I think I write too fast for the ink to feed from the sack or the barrel. So that's why I just soak them. I mean, I dip them in ink. So there's already, 3 or 4 drops of ink on the nib right then and there. So I don't have to worry about it not lasting for the one envelope I'm doing. if I wrote slowly, and if
Mhm.
I wrote normally, normal sized and slowly, I think I could easily fill um, all of my Frankenpens with ink and write with them, and they wouldn't skip. But because I'm uh, oh, hi, uh, Todd. Um,
Hey,
I
Todd.
I was speaking of you earlier today. There was an article I wrote for Penworld, Todd, where I'll read tell the story where it showed a piece of sheet music
Mhm.
on a music stand, a lyre shaped music stand, and the background was all black with white line work drawing, and you saw the conductor here, and you saw the trombones over here, and the violins over here coming in from the side, and the guy who's sitting in the stool, waiting for his turn to play the notes, was the guy with the cymbals, the percussionist with the cymbals. So it was called Rhapsody in Blue Black. And what I did for it was four uh, blocks of text, and it was written um, in the spaces between the stave lines or the
Mhm.
staff lines of the music. So I had four lines of text in each block, and then every O I filled in solid, so it looked like notes on a page. So, and this was a something I did for Penworld magazine, and the article was about do you need to have every single downstroke shaded? Because I I normally find that too noisy, too much like
Oh, interesting.
a cymbal crash,
Mhm.
at every note, you know. I usually have the shaded lines when I'm doing an envelope only be the long descenders, either the all capital letters were shaded, and the L and the T and the D were shaded, and the G and the J were shaded. So, and the F, was shaded as well. So the long strokes were shaded. All the other
Mhm.
strokes were unshaded. And I thought I likened the every downstroke shaded to be like a Sousa march, where everything um, had
Sousa Mark?
a Sousa, uh, the Stars and Stripes Forever, World
Oh.
War I era uh, composer of marches, John Philip Sousa, and
Oh, interesting.
that's where you get the sousaphone from, the tuba that you wear around your neck. That's that's called
Oh,
a sousaphone for the marching band.
I didn't know
So
that.
so anyway, Todd, uh, I discovered when I was looking at old diaries that one of the diaries I have is a physician's diary, and I carried this with me when I went to Japan with the Philadelphia Philharmonic Orchestra, where my friend is one of the oboists, and he invited me along. So, but I was thinking about this article I wrote, and I was coming up with ways of making all of the capital letters resemble funky looking treble clefs. So there was the B, the D, and I was thinking, and what I did for this article, the first letter of each sentence was made of one of these funky looking things.
Oh.
So the R, if the sentence started with the words round bugs are very squishy, or whatever whatever I wrote, I would have the R look like that, or whatever else I came up with. But one of my favorite letters to come up with, I mean, like, here's the M. What a goofy M that is. One of my favorite letters was how I did the I and the J, and they were the same shaped letter. It's just, it depended on where you put the dot. So if the dot was above the I,
Oh,
that was an I, and if it was above the J, it was the J. So that's how
ooh,
I
pretty cool.
distinguish the two that way. And it was just really a fun way to, again, take P's that look like penises, or whatever your problem is in writing, or and figure out how can you come up with a new way to create the way you write a letter. There's one postcard I have in a collection of postcards where the person wrote, this would be the perfect pen for it, but I'm afraid to use it because it's very bent. That's not helpful. What the hell's wrong here? What was I even going to tell you?
Something with the shape of letters.
It was the shape of the letter M, and it was a letter a postcard that was written to Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith. So the M was made like that. That's how they made the M. And I thought, well, that's really cool. I can see why that's an M. And you knew it was an M because it was Mr. and Mrs. Smith. But I would think if that's how you make the M, you have to make the W like that, logically speaking. And the N would have to be like that, I guess.
Yeah.
But how do you make a T? How is that, so when I design a font or a typeface, a display typeface, like I did one for using the jockstrap. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
I will show you the
Wait,
jockstrap.
so you designed an entire font based off of a jockstrap?
I did.
Pierre, how do you think of these things?
Because my mind is in the gutter.
It seems that the gutter flows everywhere.
Why not? You might as well have fun.
I quite enjoy it. It amazes me how you can take two very distinct concepts and still manage to merge them together.
Okay, so here's the origami font. So again, I'm just make something that looks like it's full of paper. So ABC and Genji. I wrote Genji, with crosshatchy pens. The banana font. Here's ways of making the E with the banana. Where the peel and the banana, and some of them you have to bite off part of the banana because you want it to be shorter. Here's the Chief Justice or the Justice Clarence Thomas pubic hair font.
Oh dear!
Now, if you don't know what that story, do you know that story?
Is this with is it Lolita Jones? I forgot her name.
Hill. Something Hill. What's her name? Hill.
I can look
anyway. Anita Hill. That's her name.
Yeah,
Anita
there we go.
Hill, was his one of his staff researchers or something, and he would come in with a, would you like me to get you a Coca-Cola? Oh yes, Justice Thomas, please, I'd love one. So he'd come in and carefully place one of his pubic hairs on the top of the Coke can for her to appreciate. And no one believed her. Everyone believed. But
you really shouldn't have been appointed.
But so what I did, I make the pubic hair, run amok like normal pubic hair can do. But I also showed they have a drop shadow to make it look more three-dimensional. So that's the Clarence Thomas pubic hair font. And here I am with here I am as the font czar,
The font czar.
and there I am with the Kaiser. So it shows me with my T square as a sword. So anyway,
Pierre, how old were you in that? Like, is that a drawing or a photo?
that was a
That's
photo of me, and I was probably 25
Okay.
at that point.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the jockstrap font,
Oh
and there's
my!
the A and the B of the jockstrap font.
This is mesmerizing.
This is on my website. You can just find it under fonts. So there.
Pierre, you should be doing fonts for Hanes at this point.
The reason I didn't turn this into a display, you know, I have an app on my iPad where I can make my own fonts. I could draw each of those.
Oh, that's pretty. Does it like do the coding and everything for the fonts as well in the app processing?
Well, it'll turn it into a typeface, so you can download it to your computer and you can type. And but I didn't know what to do with the lowercase. Most of the time when I design a font, I just do uppercase letters, but I give myself 2 sets of them so that when I have 2 O's next to each other, they're a little different from each other. So they don't, it doesn't look like a font. It looks like I hand did it. And I did hand do it, you know, but it's mechanical. And I use it for invitations or for maps because people are always, oh, we forgot a line or we forgot a place. Can you add that in? Well, no. I then have to write it out, scan it in, plug it in. By just retyping it, it's easier. It makes that pretty. Yeah. So what I did is I create 2 versions of an uppercase letter. Each letter is, and it's just the same letter. It's an A or an A, and they're both uppercase, but I can alter them. So
that's pretty cool.
But I don't know what to do with some of these display fonts. I don't know what to do with periods and punctuation. You know, so I just have it be the capital letters. You write a word or name. I also made one. The first font I designed really for a client was a bar mitzvah invitation, and the boy was a cellist.
Oh.
And his initials were AGE, which was nice. Aaron something.
I'm sure that aged well.
Elliot. So it was coming of age, and it was a perfect pun for it. And so I came up with. I said, well, let's. You know, the mother said, "Oh, we can have some flowers on this." I said, no, we're not going to have flowers on a boy's bar mitzvah thing. He's a cellist. We're going to design his initials as if they were sound holes on a violin, so or a viola. So a sound hole looks like this, right?
I played the viola.
So you see something that looks like that.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, I'm going to design letters that have 2 ends that are little circles like that, and in the middle somewhere is one of these. So the A was this.
Oh,
that's the A, except it was better than that. The G was like that. So here's the center bit. And the E was like that, I think. So then
it looks pretty damn cool.
So then I thought, well, I'll just do all the letters of the alphabet. And the last one, guess what the last one was? I couldn't figure out what the fuck to do with it. I came up with the X and the Q and the P. the last letter, and I said, I don't know how to do this. It was the F. It was for staring me at the face.
That's
It was
pretty
right-
funny. That's
it's the-
ironic. That's quite ironic.
It's the F. So what I did was I'd show you. It's on my wall, but to get to where it is on my wall, I have to
You gotta
look
go. You gotta
found some
climb.
other things. But I found a piece of plywood, beautiful, rich brown. I don't know what kind of wood it was, but it was a thin piece of veneer.
Hmm.
So I painted with black all of the letters, and then I went in with a lighter color, gold and yellow. So they look somewhat three-dimensional. And you're looking in. So anyway, that's what started me on the fonts, was the F hole for the. Yes, I know they're called F holes, but I'm not a.
That's
had
pretty
I been
funny.
a violinist, I would have known that. But I was thinking, how do I make a fucking F using this font?
It's always the most simple answers that elude us, you know.
So I bought a pen on eBay the other day, Todd and GoRo.
Oh, nice. Which one?
Well, it was a buy it now, and I thought, well, gee, the price seemed good, but I don't understand why. It must have something must be broken about it. And I looked at the listing, and I looked at the pictures, and I did everything I could, and so my fingers are crossed that it's going to be good. See original listing. Walt Eversharp Gold Fill Fountain Pen number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh wow, I was looking at this one.
And it has that pattern on it. And it was $98 for a number 3. Buy it now. And then and it said or make offer, and I started making an offer of $81, thinking that might work. And then it asked me to, sign into PayPal. It takes your payment information, and I didn't have my password, so I just clicked buy it now. What the fuck? So I'm hoping that the nib isn't broken, but it's one of those that has the metal bit.
Oh wow!
And it has a long tined number 3 nib, and it looks like the iridium is there. So I thought, with the postage and everything, the price was $109, which I think is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I don't know what pattern that is. I mean, it's a pen that I would sell if it worked, and I put a sack in it and it worked. It would be $150, $175 or more. It depends on how much I like it. So I'm hoping that it's good.
So basically, you're taking a gamble on the pen.
I'm taking a little gamble because the nib might be broken. Or another thing that happens with those goddamn pens is you take out the section and there's no sack nipple on it.
Oh God! So that must be a pain. Yeah, you can't do anything.
So
how do you break the sack nipple though?
I've done it. I know how. You're taking off the old sack. And the old sack normally chips off.
Yeah.
Like,
falls apart into dust.
And you're using your dental tool and you're taking it off, and suddenly you take a big chunk of the sack nipple along with it. And it might be because the sack nipple is cracked. I mean, or the sack is so hard and so connected with the sack nipple that it cracks it. But it's so anyway, I thought that price was really good, but it's one of these ones that buy it now, no returns accepted. So it's that kind of a person.
So fun fact, you still should be able to return it. So usually on the listing, it will say that eBay has a satisfaction guarantee or something like that. So basically, I think what happens is that the vendor themselves doesn't get the return, but when you return it back to eBay, it goes like to their facilities or their warehouses.
Okay.
But you still might be able to return it, like
well,
get your money
again,
back
the only way that I would do that, I didn't read the full description. I mean, I did vaguely enough, I think I had a number of beers in me at the time, so I there's
That's always a
that.
good way to buy pens, you know.
That might be part of the problem, but I just I usually swallow my mistakes. There was one book I bought that had a page missing, and normally I wouldn't have cared, but it was like the title page or the frontis page that, you know, someone wrote their name on it, and someone tore it out or something. And the other one was a complaint. Well, I've sent some complaints to people. I bought a charger that's supposed to charge 4 devices at once, but you plug in 2, it'll charge 2, but you plug in the third and one of the other ones doesn't work. So they gave me, you know,
a double charger,
but they gave me half my money back, you know.
Okay.
And which was fine because I was essentially getting two chargers rather than one. I mean, and the other one was there was one for an Apple Pencil, and it was supposed to work for an iPad, and so I thought it would work exactly like an Apple Pencil does, where you press down and it gets fatter. But this one didn't do that. It's like a
regular stylus.
It's just like using a regular stylus.
Yeah.
So, and they said you can return it, and they were only, I think it was only $10 or something rather than $100. And I still use it for a non-iPad Pro. I can still draw with it. I can still do some things with it. And there's some apps that I draw with where I don't apply the pressure aspect of it. In fact,
so then it works out.
90% of the drawings I do using my favorite drawing app, I don't use the pressure aspect of the pen.
Oh, really? I thought that would have been like one of your biggest facets, since you
No,
get
I'll show you
line
how,
variation.
well, I do, but the thing the drawings that I make with my iPad, I'll just show you an example of one here. Okay, here's a bunch of flowers in vases. And so I use this app, the Sketch Club app, and I use the tool called Vector, which, if I can find it here, where's the Vector tool? Vector. And I have Vector set at gradient. So it allows me to make areas really, really fast, and I can use my finger or any sharp stick that has whatever a
That's
finger.
Interesting.
Works. So I use that for that. eBay returns go back to the seller. They might go back to, maybe the eBay pays some amount of money back to the seller too, so they get the product plus a little kickback. I don't know how it works, but I once bought a framed diploma online, and it came in this big cardboard box with one piece of crumpled up newspaper thrown in.
I'm sure that really kept the diploma safe.
Of course, the frame broke, but I wasn't buying it for the frame. Glass. I wanted the diploma, and so I wrote back, "I'm sure you're not surprised that my diploma arrived broken.
One piece of paper.
Please refund me." "Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought that might happen." Well, of course it happened.
If you thought it's going to happen, maybe you should have hedged against it.
Put a piece of glass that's 18 by 15 inches in a huge cardboard box, see if it
Yeah.
breaks. So anyway, I said, I just give me half the money back, or give me $10 back. It was maybe $15, and I wanted the piece of paper. I didn't care about the frame. So anyway, she said sure, smiley face, refund given. So yay.
We take what we get.
Todd, would you like to join us for a little bit? It's been an hour and 45 minutes, but you're welcome to come on and talk to GoRo.
Love to have you, Todd. I'm acting as if this is my own show.
So Todd, he sent me 2 pens, and he wants the nibs placed in. Now this is something, again, you and I, GoRo, we're going to just have to have a little chat, because what you're asking me to do is not making the pens any more functional for you. They'll just hold a little tiny bit more ink. And is it worth that much trauma to, I mean, finding a number, for example, if you wanted this to be in a Waterman 15 rather than a 55, the 15 is way more rare and presumably more valuable a piece of hard rubber than this is. And the amount of extra liquid, it's like a sack and a half. You're getting an extra 50% more ink, I think.
So
Todd, do you want to join us? And again, if you want to have me do this, I'm happy to do it. But I just I don't think, in the end of the day, I don't think you're gaining anything. Now this one, because this has the stenographer's price sticker still on it, and it's all just perfectly beautiful, I could see why you might not want to get your hot, sweaty hands all over this all the time. I'm sorry for saying the hot, sweaty, hairy hands, but
okay,
you know,
I will admit my hands do get hot and sweaty.
Okay, good. And they probably do have fur on the back.
I have a lot of fur here.
Yeah,
It's an issue.
I can tell you. When I did my starring role as on Little Women, before they gave me, I went to costuming, and again, I didn't know I was doing this. They didn't have anyone that knew how to write in cursive. So I was playing the role of her publisher, sitting at a desk. Dear Miss March, I enjoyed very much reading your manuscript, whatever the hell I had to say. But I had to go to costuming, so they gave me a coat that was long enough to cover in a white shirt that was a little bit longer. So I looked like I was from 18, whatever. And then I had to go to makeup. So they brought me to the manicurist.
They put makeup on your hand?
They manscaped me first. They manscaped me for my hand job. They cut off all the fur that was visible. Not that there's a lot. And then they, covered my horrid age spots with whatever flesh colored makeup they had.
That's pretty funny.
Then they gave me a manicure, and then they filed my hands, and I felt like I was a movie star.
They made you pretty, Pierre.
So anyway, if your hands get sweaty, I'm just telling you this, having a pen that has a sack in it is better than having an eyedropper, because there's between your hot, sweaty hand and the ink, there's
extra layer.
There's a layer of actual air, and then a layer of rubber, soft rubber, and then there's the ink. But when it's just your hot, sweaty hand and the barrel is going to get hot,
heat up.
and it'll automatically transfer to the ink. So you might find your pens are writing wetter with an eyedrop fill. Isn't that correct, Todd Merrill? Or am I just talking out of my ass here? Todd?
Yeah, I heard just a lot of for like 2 minutes or a minute.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're gone
Yeah.
now.
I'm gone now.
I'm gone. Now I'm there. There you are.
Yeah. This worked. If you sign off and sign on again, it might.
Yeah.
So why don't you sign off and sign back?
Yeah, that's weird. All right. I think I'll do that. All right.
Okay.
So Pierre, I was gonna say, I don't care if it's a 15 body, in the sense that, like, if let's say you have an eyedropper that'll fit the 5 nib,
Yeah. Okay.
that's not a Waterman body, that's
Yeah.
fine with me. I
Okay.
don't particularly care.
Okay.
The reason I like the eyedroppers is they're just easier to clean.
Okay.
And I have the habit of changing inks like every
Oh dear. Okay.
every few
Yeah.
days. I'll be like, oh, I want this color, or I've been using this color too much, so let me switch back to something else. So that's one of the main things.
So you and Ms. Marilyn Darling would get along perfectly, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You just hang out, and you'd put on your aprons and go to the sink and clean your pens and gossip and.
So so when I say I change inks repeatedly, it's like I'll use my blue inks. Hi, Todd. I use my blue inks for too long, and then all my writing is just in blue, and I can't tell when I've written something.
I see.
So it turns into a nightmare for
see.
picking out, oh, is this my latest draft, or is this like a draft I wrote 3 weeks ago?
And you don't want to just put a little date at the top of your drawing too.
No, because I never remember to do that, and God forbid I write sequentially. So
Todd,
that's
how does the sound work?
Hi, Todd.
It seems to be working fine now, thankfully, which is great.
The question I had for you was, GoRo says with pride that he has hot, sweaty hands, and
Okay.
I was saying that if he's using an eyedropper pen,
Like this.
his
pretty.
barrel and it's going to heat up the ink, and it'll write wetter, I would think.
Especially when it's running out of ink. Yeah.
Especially when it's running out of ink, because the air behind the ink is also expanding faster than the ink does, so it squirts it out, or it helps squirt it out. So, but anyway, I'm happy to look for an eyedropper nib for both of these pens that would fit. I mean, and certainly there's a way where you can perhaps get one of my 412s.
So I was going to ask you, if let's say you have a 412, or I mean, I guess for the 55, and you said you don't have any 5 nibs, but for your 412s, if you have a nib that functions similar to the stenographer's nib, we theoretically could just do a trade, and we can figure out the differential or something like that.
Yeah, it might be doable that way. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I might have, it's Todd, what one of the pens he has is a Waterman 52 in beautiful jet black, crispy hard rubber, and it has a stenographer's label on it.
Yeah, wow.
And
it's a 52, you said?
It's a 52, and it doesn't have a clip. So again, all of that makes sense for a stenographer. You keep this at the office. You don't take it out in your pocket. You're probably more likely going to be a dame anyway, without a pocket. So it's a really crispy pen, and I can see why one would suggest not using it. But if you really like the nib, you could yank the nib out and put it in any old hard rubber 52 that is a little faded. and doesn't have a price sticker on it. And you can have fun with the stenographer's nib. The stenographer's nib, or the nib that's in that pen, is bouncy. It's not a pink. It's not fine enough to be a pink, but it's very flexible and juicy.
Interesting.
But I always think of stenographers as having very fine nibs, but maybe they didn't.
So
As far as I know, they are. I mean, that was their standard, most flexible nib. And the pink was supposedly also for stenographers, but there may be some. Yeah, but there may be some difference between them. I mean, certainly, obviously, there's a difference from nib to nib, as you well know from that period, because they're all hand finished.
Yeah.
And there's also the fact that you can get them short, medium, and long, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So you can,
I didn't know that.
yeah, like if you look at the 1925 Waterman's catalog, it'll show that you can get, depending on the size of the nib, you can get the nib to, as a long, medium, or short, and that affects the tines. So you can actually get a stenographer's nib a long stenographer's nib that has like extra long tines. So it'll be like especially flexible. It's wild. So there are these, crazy combinations that you can kind of pick up. It's like a Copo Chevelle. The GM had this, like, if you had an in with a dealer with General Motors, you can say, I want my Chevelle to have this and this, and it was like a menu with all these options you could have on it. It's like wild. So you can kind of do that in a way.
You could have it with the 8-track tape.
Yeah, right. Well, it was more than just cool stuff like that. Well, I mean, not cool, but like it was more than that. It was like performance stuff. The engine would be this size with that kind of a differential and blah 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 blah.
I have
But,
a
yeah.
funny story. One of my neighbors in my building, in order to keep people from stealing his car radio, he would put 8-track tapes all over the dashboard, so people
But it's great.
and so no one would take that shitty thing.
That's quite funny. That's smart.
That's hilarious. And it would have to be. It would have to be stuff like like K-Tel or Ronco. Compilations, like stuff from the 70s that's just like the worst of the 70s, like the stuff nobody wants.
Artists.
Right. Or worse.
Scam.
Not the original artists.
No, it was a band called The Original Artists, and they just mimicked the band.
That's hilarious.
Goro, I'm here's an eyedropper. It's not,
oh my God, Pierre, how did you do that so quickly?
It's not sterling, but it's gold fill, and it's ooh la la. It's actually not a bad one. It's not. It's an off-brand, but I love these pens because they look kind of fancy.
Yeah.
And from afar, they look vaguely legit.
Yeah.
Without being the $800 priced sticker. So what I'm doing is the number 5 was too big for this.
Okay.
So I'm trying the number 2 stenographer nib in this, and I tried putting it in with the feed that it had in it, and it was too tight.
Wait, Pierre, how did you get the feed out so easily?
I have magic fingers.
You really do.
So this feed and the number 2 nib,
too loose?
It seemed too tight.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, this is kind of fitting. I don't want to deform the nib at all, but I might be able to find a feed that works with this nib and this cap and barrel.
Okay, that would be
Is this something that could work for you?
It could work.
Okay.
I guess we can talk about,
and we can talk about stuff later.
We can talk about the details on the side.
Again, I might have a number 2 412 that I can sell you. 412s are not hard to come by. You can buy them any day on eBay.
There's one on sale right now. There's actually 2 on sale right now on eBay.
So, and your number 2 nib will certainly fit in either one of those, I'm sure. I mean, you might need to use a different feed.
Mhm.
The feeds aren't always the same either. Here's an off-brand Sterling eye drop fill. This I think is going to be too small a nib
Mm.
for your 2.
And for what it's worth, there's also the matter of how deep the ink channels are. Like if you've got 2 412s that are identical in terms of when they were made, but one has a manifold nib and one has a very flexible nib,
Mhm.
the one that has a flexible nib is going to have deeper ink channels,
Deeper
or it
channels.
should. Yeah, in the feed. So there's some that's a little. You might switch feeds out or potentially deepen them. If you need to.
Cesar says he'd be interested in buying the parts that are not being used. So we can all talk about that later. Again, I would rather, I mean, the both of these pens are perfectly fine. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't, a number 5 nib pen is bigger than the standard ones I sell, just because I tend to keep those. And, I have to charge more for a 55 than a 52, obviously. So it just adds more trauma to my sales pitch when people are buying a big pen that doesn't do anything any differently than a small pen. Number 2 does everything a number 5 can do, in my opinion. Though Todd and other experts might disagree with me to some degree or other. But anyway,
well, the only thing that I could say is theoretically a flexible number 5. Let's say you've got a number 2 and a number 5, or a number 6, even better, or an 8, which is unlikely. But let's say you have a 2 and a 6, and they're identical, except
the nib is bigger.
Except, yeah. One's bigger. I mean, proportionally speaking, the 6 will be more flexible because it's proportionately thinner. If that makes any sense.
It should. Well, they both could start off with the same hairline,
Mhm.
fine, and because there's more gold in their pen nib, that you should be able to spread further because you've got more metal to do that. I mean,
Mhm.
if you put them, both pens, the 2 and the 5, and you apply the same amount of pressure as you pull down, it seems logical that this one should, if you apply more pressure here, it'll still get wider without breaking. Where here, this might break.
Hmm.
2 would break.
Yeah. Right.
But the problem with all of that is there's a point at which, when it's really, really wide, you're going to have, it'll start railroading.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's ever enough ink being delivered, even if it was had an overfeed and an underfeed and all the spoons in a Waterman spoon feed as you can put on the pen. I think there's a point at which the capillary action, or the whatever it is, what do you call that, fluid tension or whatever it is, will give up the ghost and it'll railroad.
So I think from my experience with so I have a Waterman 12, which I've shown you, Pierre, the modeled. This 52, well, the 52 I haven't filled, so I'm not sure if it will railroad. But the 55, only time I've had it railroad on me was when my sack was just about to run out. It absolute tank of a feed in there.
But again, I was going to say 2 things. Number 1, in practice, I don't think it makes much of a difference, like between the 2 and the 5 or the 6 in practice, because you can get a super ultra flexible 2 if you look around enough.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, in terms of railroading, what you're talking about, like the number 5 one not railroading, again, that could just be down to how deep the ink channels are too. You know what I'm saying? So and I agree with Pierre, absolutely. There's a point where it's like, what? All right, like this 12 that I just got, this Canadian 12. I mean, look how wide. I don't know if that's in focus or not.
Yeah.
That Q descender is like stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, and And it didn't railroad.
It is really stupid.
It's absolutely
so
amazing.
stupid. I can't believe how stupid it is. It also
It's
again,
goofy.
If you wrote that with one of my pens, I would almost ask you to leave the house because it looks like you're pressing down too hard.
I know.
you're not.
I know.
You're
I
not,
know.
but-
It's crazy. And it was the absolute limit. I mean, I really wasn't going hard. And now the good news is this is a 5 millimeter rule. So it's not really as big as it appears,
Mhm.
but, it's crazy. And I did actually get this to railroad at a point where it was, let me see if I can find it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, how did that even happen? Because this thing is so juicy.
Uh-huh.
But I wasn't that wide. And it did. So it can happen, and it depends on the pen. The other thing too is, I mean, I didn't really do a lot to clean this pen out. Where is it? Oh, forgive me. I'm so sorry. It's just taking forever to find. But I gave it a quick like ultrasonic clean a couple of
Mhm.
times to get it, flowing nicely.
No.
But yeah, I actually did get it to. You'll have to take my word for it that I actually did get it to railroad somehow, which was shocking. I was surprised. It's my 412 doesn't do that.
I just got a message from one of my neighbors. I'm designing protest signs. Todd, I don't know if you saw one.
I saw the one about Greenland. You wrote
Greenland.
you wrote screm instead of scream.
Oh, I might have.
I was like, oh no! I mean, I saw it a couple times.
I scream, scram, and scram.
Right,
And
you
then
wrote screams and
back
scram
to-
and scram. Right.
Scream, scram, and scram, and I finally got back to scream again. So
Right.
we're liking this one a lot. I scream, you scream, we all scream at ice. Scream!
Right.
The other one was keep his tiny hands off Greenland. So
Greenland.
the O with the line through it is the O with the line through it. So
The E. Right.
So anyway, I need to go do that, but it was good talking to you both. And GoRo, we can chat face to face without the world seeing what we're coming up with here. I'll try to
Okay.
figure out what I want to do.
Okay.
I don't really value the parts that you don't want. I don't
Okay,
need
that's fine.
I don't need a 55 cap and barrel, and I don't need the pen with the price tag, but someone's going to want that pen with the price tag a lot, even if it doesn't have that nib in it, because the nib doesn't say stenographers on it. And to me, it doesn't seem that different from a regular Waterman number 2 nib. So, but it might be. I just don't know. I don't know enough of those nibs. So, but we can talk.
Okay.
I certainly can. There is a way to put those nibs into an eyedropper, number 5 size eyedropper, and also a number 2 size eyedropper, or a 412, a Waterman 412, a legitimate Waterman 412, if that's your desire. But we can.
Let's chat. I'll text you.
Yeah, we'll chat at some point.
Okay.
And
all right,
Cesar, if you're still there, it was nice having you on for a while, and it was really nice hearing Mary's voice. It made me just be so happy. And
does my hand pass, by the way, without manscaping?
Your hand works perfectly fine without manscaping, and also the first part of this video was about my 5-year diaries I have, Todd.
Okay.
That I bought, where you write, this is 1913, May 28th, and this is 1914, May 28th. So you use the same page every year. So
gotcha.
You can consult your how you've improved over the years, I guess. But I looked at this is 1940 and 1941. So what did I look up in 1941, Todd? What
December 7th? December 7th?
To see what this person write? Because normally they just write about how cold and rainy it is. And so this is December 6th, baked cookies. Mrs. Seberg called for a recipe, went to North Brockton. And then there's December 7th.
But so it's a local one. I was gonna say it's a local diary, right?
Jack
yeah.
over to fix a leak. Mrs. Pryor baked baby Ed and Peter called in the evening. December 8th. Oh. Here we go. So 1941, December 7th, Japan at war on Hawaii. And then went to the Baptist church, you know. So then I looked under the war ending, and it's the same person, and this is a different book, and it's 1946, 19. So when did the war end?
I'm a little weak on that one. I forget exactly, but it was it was like VJ Day, right?
It was VE Day was I think the one that I'm looking for. 1946. So this is 45. I looked it up and it was really, oh, here we go. May 7th. It ended, but she didn't read the paper.
Yeah, it's somewhere. Yeah, it's 45.
So,
yeah,
so it was May 8th.
It's like the spring or something. Yeah.
So she got the paper the next day, and Germany surrendered. And then to post office in the morning. Nate had 5 movements this morning. 5 bowel movements did Nate. And Nate is sickly throughout the entire diary. I don't know who Nate is, the husband, I suspect, who's always sickly. So they're fun, these diaries. When you
is cool. I said the connection got garbled there.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
The connection got garbled there, unfortunately. So I can only. But
anyway, you be good. Talk to you later.
Well, I will check out the first part of the video, though.
Okay, very good. Yep. Bye-bye. Bye.